I'm just making a short video about major and minor scales to talk about, first of all, what they are, what a scale is, what the differences are between them, and how you can use them in your music. So, first of all, what is a scale? A scale is basically just a series of notes, all right? In Western tonal harmony, which is the majority of what people are making when using software like Ableton. Not to say that people aren't using, other tuning systems or other musical systems besides Western tonal harmony. However, it is the majority of people and the majority of pop music and EDM that uses the tuning system called 12 tone equal temperament. So that means that we basically have 12 notes to choose from: C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and B, and then back to C again. So that's 12 notes right there that we can pick from. And what a scale is essentially a selection of 7 of those notes. Technically 8, because the 8th one is the octave, which is the same note as the bottom, just 1 octave higher. So a scale is typically thought of as having 8 notes in it. So a scale is just a selection of 8 notes out of those 12 that we have, and which notes you choose out of that selection of 12, which is called the chromatic scale, by the way, which of the notes you choose determines whether that scale is a major or minor. All right? Now, you see right here, I have a major scale. There we go. There's your traditional major scale. This is a C major scale. The reason why it's a C major scale is because it starts on a C. All right? And then from there, we add notes or leave notes out in order to create the series that is a C major scale. Some of my students at the college really find it helpful to think about this in their intervals, all right? And what an interval means is a distance between 2 notes. So typically you can think of it as 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And that is the series of a major scale. All right, so what that means is right here we got 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And that particular series is going to remain true for the major scale no matter what key you're in. So if I choose any other random note, let's just choose an F here. And if I just simply go 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, what I've done there is I've created the F major scale, which sounds like this. Right? And I could transfer that anywhere else. Let's just try down here, an A major scale. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Boom, there we go. So remembering that interval series, that pattern of 2s and 1s, can really help you to spell out a major scale or to figure out what the notes in that major scale are, depending on whatever note you're starting on. So major scales are generally thought of as feeling maybe happier or brighter in a lot of situations. All right, so if you're going to be using a major scale, typically the mood will be a little more uplifting or ethereal or happy. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I mean, ethereal is kind of like an in-between, so I don't know why I said that one, but you get the idea, right? It's a little bit brighter of a tone. But if you move over to the minor scale, and you see that's why I colored it yellow, make it nice and sunny. If you go to the minor scale, it's a bit of a darker sound. A little bit more sad in general. The difference between the major and the minor scale is that the minor scale, we have a lowered third, a lowered sixth, and a lowered seventh. This is called, 1, 2, 3, that's the third, 4, 5, 6, that's the sixth, that's the seventh, that's the eighth. Like I said before, there are 8 notes in a scale, but we typically just call the eighth the octave. So in order to create, and I'm just going to do it right here. I'm going to copy this major scale, and I'm going to turn it into a minor scale, a C minor scale, by lowering the third, the sixth, and the seventh. And right there, I've just gone and I've created a minor scale. So the interval series for a minor scale is 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. And same as before, if I were to go ahead and start anywhere, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. There we go. I can go ahead and create a minor scale based on any note simply by using that particular series of 2s and 1s, which is the interval step, right? It's either a major or minor second. So you can think of it in, like this is a major second right here, interval. And this is a minor second interval, right? Minor second, the two notes are right next to each other. Major second, they are one step away from each other. So if you want, you can think of it as major or minor seconds, but I find it easiest to rattle off like, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, and keep it simple like that. So that is the difference between the major and the minor scale right there. I also want to talk a little bit about the relative major and the relative minor, all right? So these are parallel major and minor scales. When I say they're parallel, that means that they both start on the same note. They both start on C. This is a C major and a C minor. We'll call it here C major, C minor. But let's just take the C major scale right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this down here. And I'm actually going to try something. Now, we know the interval series for a minor scale is 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay? So let's just take a look at the notes we have down here. Is there anywhere that I can start that will give me that particular set of steps? Here we have 2, 1. Let's imagine we keep going up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it, paste it, and move that over. There we go. So this is just the same scale, but I took it up another octave. So we have 2 octaves of this scale here. So we need 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. So we got 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. Oh, look at that. So using the same notes in the C major scale, I can actually find the minor scale in this series of notes. We go ahead and delete everything around that. Sorry for the interruption. We'll get right back to the tutorial in just a moment. I just want to take a second to say if you like this content and you want more tutorials like this, I have a Patreon over here. And you can see I have monthly tutorial videos like this one you're watching right now, as well as monthly sample packs. I offer track review and private lessons right here. You can also go to abletonprivatelessons.com and you can book a session directly with me through that. And if you see on my online scheduler that there is a time available, just go ahead and book it. These are always open. I always keep this up to date no matter how long ago I made this video. I guarantee you that if you see a time slot available there, you can book it and we will have a session. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly. Otherwise, let's get right back to the video. And now we've got this scale. Using the same notes as we found in the C major scale. I did not modify any of these notes. All I did was start on a different note in the C major scale. I just started on the A and I played the same notes, just making A feel like the root key, the home key for the note. So let's go back here and check it out. What these two are, this is actually A minor. Let's rename that. So we have C major and C minor. These, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Let's just do that. These are parallel. And then I have C major and A minor. And these are relative. This is the relative minor to C major. In any situation, to find the relative minor of a key, all you have to do is figure out which note to start on in that scale. All right? And every time it's going to be the 6th, right? It's going to be the 6th scale degree. So if we just go ahead, let's make a major scale right here, picking any random note. Let's just start on a D sharp. Okay? 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. There we go. Now, in order, this is my D sharp minor scale. Just do that, D sharp minor. All right. This is D sharp major, actually. My bad. D sharp major. All right, so we have our D sharp major scale, but here's the weird thing. This is not actually a D sharp major scale. All right, this is departing from what we're talking about a little bit. This is just so you can kind of communicate a little better with other, producers and musicians who understand music theory. This is not a D sharp major scale. This is actually an E flat major scale. D sharp and E flat is the same note, right? So here's my D sharp. If I switch this over here to flats, this is my E flat, right? They're the same note. Let's go back to sharps. The reason why this cannot be a D sharp is you see we go from D sharp straight over to F. We entirely skip E. And then we go D sharp, F, G, G sharp, A sharp, C, D, D sharp. D is used twice here, and we're leaving the E out. One of the rules about scales in general is that you have to use every letter of the scale at least once, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are the letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Depending on whatever one you start with, could be like a C sharp, could be a C flat, right? Whatever you start with, there could be modifiers, the sharp or flat modifiers, but each of those letters is used one time and one time only, no more or no less. So the fact that we have two Ds here, a D and a D sharp, and the fact that we have no E indicates that something is wrong. And it means we've started on the wrong enharmonic spelling. All right? The enharmonic of D sharp is E flat. So if we come over here and we choose flats like that, all right? So now I'm going to come over here. We have E flat, F, G, A flat, B, C, B flat, C, D, and E flat. E, F, G, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? Everything used once, even though some of them have flats or sharps on them, technically all flat. It's only going to be flats, right? Each scale is not going to have a combination of flats or sharps. They're only going to have flats or sharps. Anyway, but now this is an E flat major scale, all right? So you wouldn't say a D sharp major scale. You would say an E flat major scale. All right, moving right on here. Now, I'm going to take this I'm going to call it E flat because that's correct. E flat, there we go. E flat major scale, and I'm going to find the relative minor of this E flat major scale. So I'll drag this down here, and what would the relative minor of this scale be? Well, we know it's going to start in the sixth, so that would be a, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be a C minor scale. All right, so let's go ahead and type up here C minor. And I can actually just erase all of these, start on a C, and spell a C minor scale. What is a C minor scale? 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. That same series that we talked about before, okay? And you notice the notes that we have in here are the same notes that we have in the E flat major scale. We have an E flat, an A flat, and a B flat, and the rest of them are all natural, meaning there's no sharp or flat. Let's come down here. We have an E flat, an A flat, a B flat, and the rest are all natural. There we go. That would be the relative minor of E flat major. I want to do one more of these to show you. Come over here, randomly picking a note. Let's just do, not even looking. What is this note? Oh, we just did that. Enough with that. A flat. Let's try A flat. Okay. Spelling a major scale. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. There we go. There's our major scale. Let's take this all down an octave to make it a little better for range. Ta-da! All right, cool. So how do we make this a parallel? All right, now I know I'm departing what we're talking about, but just as a reminder, as a review, what is the parallel? The parallel is when you start in the same note, but you make it minor. So how do you make something minor? You lower the third, the 6th, and the 7th, one step, one semitone. That is the parallel minor scale to A flat. But how do you make a relative, right? A flat minor scale. And I also want to show you that we're not going to actually call this G sharp. Why aren't we going to call this G sharp? Well, same deal as before. G sharp, A. Okay, so good so far. G sharp, A sharp. But then we skip our B. So sure, we could call this one B flat or B sharp, right? We could call this B sharp, which is the same thing as E. So if you sharp something, you raise it up a semitone. If you flat it, you lower it a semitone. Should have explained that earlier. But we can't call this one a B sharp. We could, but it's a really uncommon note. So we have two C's here. G sharp, A sharp, C. So let's go ahead and let's pretend this is a B sharp, all right? How do I do this? Let's just do sharps. Call this one a B sharp. C sharp, D sharp. We also need an E. We don't have an E in here. E sharp, F, G. Well, this technically would be, we can't have two G's. So what do we got to do? F double sharp, which raises it up one. There's F sharp, and that's two. That's F double sharp. See what I mean? It gets way too overcomplicated. You have to add all these double sharps and extra sharps you don't need, and it's ridiculous. So when you're encountering that, you have to understand that most likely what you can do is flip it and do the enharmonic spelling. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through. One of the letters used one time. Okay? So that is the correct spelling for our scale. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the relative minor. Easy enough. What is the 6 of the scale? B, C, D, E, F. So let's just start on an F and spell a minor scale. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. So there we go. That is the relative minor scale to the A flat major scale. So how then do we use these scales? Like, what is the point of even knowing your scales? All right. Well, let's say you are in you're trying to write some chords. Let's stick with A flat minor because we're already working in that here. So let's say you're trying to create some chords. All right. These are the notes you get to choose from, and these are the only notes you get to choose from. I mean, you could borrow from other keys, and that gets complicated. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's say you're writing diatonically. Diatonically means you're staying within the key. You're staying using only the notes that are in the key. So in order to do this, we have to talk about your chords, right? So we have the intervals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the octave. So this is a 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord, 7 chord. And in order to figure out which notes you're going to use in each of those chords, you can stack them up in the scale. So let's go ahead like this. We'll make a 1 chord. All right? In order to make a 1 chord, the simplest chord would be a triad, which has 3 notes. You have to skip this note, go to that note, and then skip that note, and go to that note. So in order to create a chord, you leave out every other note, like that. So these are the notes in the scale, but this right here is the minor triad, and that is like the building block of all the chords. So let's go ahead and make a new chord, all right? So I want to make a chord that starts maybe on the C here, all right? What scale is this, or what chord is this? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5 chord, all right? So how do we do this? Well, that's the next note. Skip it. Do that one. And that's the next note. Skip it. And obviously, if we continue, maybe not obviously, but if we continue to scale up, what's after F is a G. After F is a G. So what exactly is the Let's go ahead and turn these off like that. There we go. So what are the notes that make up the 5 chord? C, E flat, G. Right? And I can actually come down here and take these down an octave, and that's going to be a little smoother of a transition. It's still the same chord, I just shifted the octave of some notes. All right, let's make another chord. What might be good? Maybe a chord starting on the B flat, which is the 4. So I'm going to go ahead and take the B flat. What's the note above B flat? A C, skip it, make a D flat. What's the note above the D flat? An E, skip it, make an F. There we go. And that right there is your 4 chord. Again, same deal as before. I would like to make this a little bit smoother of a transition between these two. That's called voice leading. All right, so I want some proper voice leading. So I'm going to take this and drop it down, just so that each of these are not moving too far from there's none of these huge jumps between these chords, right? This one jumps to here, this one jumps to here, this one jumps to here. That's large jumps. We don't want that as much. We want that. So this one now jumps to here, this one jumps to here, this one jumps to here. That's proper voice leading. Now we have this chord. Now maybe I'm going to make one starting on the E flat. So let's go ahead and do that. E flat. Let's take it down an octave, make it easier. All right, so there's our E flat. What's the next note up? An F, skip it, go to the G. What's the next note up? A flat, skip it, go to the B flat. And now we have that particular chord, which is a 5 chord, 7 chord. Sorry, that's a 7 chord. Now we have our chord progression. And it works pretty well. Right? It's not too bad. You can jazz that up, make it a little better. It's not like the most amazing chord progression in the world, but you can add notes to it. If you were going to add notes, let's just think about this. And actually, I'm going to put all these back into... now let's leave it as is. Now I'll put it back. I'm going to get rid of the extra notes just to make it less confusing. Put this one back, and there we go. So now we have what is called a root position here. See how those jumps are a little uncomfortable? Maybe that's what you want. You can do it. There's no rules, but generally some proper voice leading might make that a bit smoother. What if I want to add more notes to these chords? Easy. All I gotta do is keep going up. All right, F, skip the G, A flat, skip the B flat, C. How do we add another one? Skip the D flat, add the E flat. I just spelled a 7th chord. See how that E flat adds some color? There we go. And you can keep going. You can keep stacking these up. Skip the F, add a G. Right? Skip the A flat, add a B flat. And now we have, there's a triad, there's a 7th chord, there's a 9th chord, there's an 11th chord. You see, so I'm not going to go too deep into any of that stuff, but that is how you can use the scale to help you outline your chords and figure out which notes go next, right? How do you know you're making the right chord? Well, maybe come over here, figure out what your scale intervals are, like that. Ta-da. And just use all of those. Of course, Ableton does make it easy. Ableton has the scale feature over here. You can turn scale on and say, oh, I'm writing in A flat minor. So you can go down to A flat minor. And now any of the highlighted notes here are going to show you which of the notes are in the scale or not in the scale. Am I writing in A flat minor? No, I'm not. I'm writing in F minor. That's silly. I was like, there's some notes that aren't working here. This is F minor. All right, so let's go to F minor. There we go. And now you can see that all of the highlighted notes are ones that are in the scale degree, or in the scales, I should say. And if you're going to form triads, then you want to skip one, go up the next, skip one, do the next one, like that. So hopefully this was helpful. There's so much more to talk about when it comes to this, but generally. This is a good introduction into scales, major, minor scales, relative, parallel, and how you can use those to create chord progressions. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Definitely feel free to sign up for lessons. We can talk about theory, among many other things, if you need help with that stuff. So thanks for watching.